Listen, did you guys have crushes on these animated characters? Any of them?
I was so scared. I was so scared we were going here, and we've reached.
I just need to know, because I remember watching X-Men for the first time, and I was smitten by Gambit.
You brought this up before. You are very proud of this. You are very proud of this.
I'm so honest about this. I feel like he ruined every real life relationship for me.
Hey everybody, welcome to another very special episode of Crossover Event, the show where nerds collide. Today we have a very special person on as a guest. She is one of the rising comedians in the Indian comedy circuit, and most recently you can catch her in Ladies Up, which is a new special on Netflix. Niveditha Prakasam, how's it going? Welcome to the show.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. You are used to that kind of crowd. At Geek Fruit, we're not, but this is for the internet. Niveditha, thank you for being on the show. Jishnu specifically was very excited about today's episode because it's something that is near and dear to his heart. So what, Niveditha, are you going to be telling us about this episode?
We are going to be discussing about my favorite thing from my childhood, animal movies. And I don't mean animated animals, not Ratatouille, no. I mean real animals and real people and animals saving the people's lives emotionally or physically.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It is important that you make that distinction. Why is that important, Jishnu, that it's live action animals over animated like animals?
Something about
the smell? I don't know.
The smell. When you go to 4D theater, what 5DX?
there was a movie called Cats versus Dogs, and that made the animals look super like not like animals at all. They had such human qualities to them.
Yeah, I have some issues with that movie because they make cats the antagonist of that movie, and I'm not into it. I think after YouTube, we finally people kind of understood that cats are pretty okay. Before that, it was this kind of whole holistic agenda to kind of show cats are bad and dogs are sweet and loyal.
Cats are not just bad; cats are women.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. Cats are women.
Man,
a lot
the
of
politics of animal movies. Crazy.
I'm just gonna back away slowly from that.
Okay, Niveditha.
I'll tell you why. Do you remember Homeward Bound, the movie?
I do remember Homeward Bound, yes.
The cat was the little girl's pet.
Oh.
And the dogs were the boys' pets.
Niveditha, why don't you tell us which were your favorite animal movies? I don't think we have a proper term for this, but animal movies.
It's like picking between my children, honestly, because there are movies with really bad ratings that I really love. And this is not just with animal movies. There's a lot of movies. I like bad movies.
I love bad movies. Don't worry about it.
But I don't ironically like them. I actually like them. Anyway.
Yes.
Anyway, so this animal, there was the one that had the most impact on me, I think, was Free Willy.
First movie I ever saw. Ever.
Oh my God. I cried
Free
so
Willy.
much. And there are too many fish movies there are too many of them.
There was also a Flipper, I remember.
Yes.
Remember Flipper?
About the dolphin.
Oh my God. I don't think I've said the word Flipper in like many years in the context of a movie. So Niveditha, tell us about Free Willy. Why did you like it? Why did it resonate with you? Or are there and these movies in general, you picked this topic, so.
Yeah, the thing about Free Willy is they really, you remember I said a movie where the animal saves the person emotionally. Free Willy is the embodiment of that, isn't it? Like this killer whale came into these people's lives and just changed it forever. And then in the end, was fighting for its own. Oh my God, it's the best. They know how to make a movie, these writers. They took it so well. They really built it to that position where Free Willy was dying. And all the audiences are just in tears because you know that this is actually a real thing, like the oil spill and the fish. And after that, every time I saw an oil spill, I remember the movie and I was like, oh my God, Free Willy is dying in this oil spill.
Well, so it did make an impact, right? Like it has an ecological message.
Yeah,
Niveditha, are you saying that we are the virus and nature is not healing?
Yes, okay, cool. So nature's trying to get rid of us so that it can live peacefully.
So okay, cool. So Jishnu, did you have like a personal favorite film? I know you're a huge animal movie lead fan.
Where to begin, Baba?
Just highlight one.
I already said it. Beethoven. Why wouldn't I? It's the gift that keeps on giving. He's on his 5th symphony and counting.
There been 5 Beethovens?
No, yeah, there are 5. Yeah, Beethoven's 5th was the 5th. I think there might be 6. It's kind of like the Saw movies and me. They just keep going.
Did they use the same dog?
No, unfortunately.
Do they?
It's about Beethoven's ongoing, well, not litter. What do you call them?
Lineage.
His lineage. Yeah, his lineage. His lineage.
What about Lassie or Air Bud, man? Remember Air Bud? Holy shit, Air Bud had like so many movies. And then they had Air Buddies where Air Bud's kids play soccer and shit. So specifically dog movies have a strange tie to people's hearts because, like there's something really kind of, emotional obviously about having a pet. And I think a lot of them, is this like just an American thing also where, I know there was a lot of spillover here, but in India, or at least for my Indian parents, we weren't like allowed to keep pets, right? They were like, no, house cleanliness, Lakshmi won't come to the house, Diwali, all that stuff, So was that? Do you think this was just like culturally such an American thing to have like dog movies or like the animal movies? I don't know. I mean, just Hollywood being Hollywood. What do you think about the context of that?
I think Hollywood knows how to package everything to make people like it. They're experts.
Like they have the room for it. They have the real estate for these kind of like fairy tale stories about the dog sort of being embraced by the whole family and running amok in the backyard, be it either beating up the bad guys or casually like slam dunking a basketball, whatever it is. They have like the white picket fence and, front yard and backyard big enough for a family of like 7 people, which includes like 2 dogs and 3 cats and whatever the hell. But here, like if you set it in Bombay, it's like, where's it gonna be? Like, in my 2 BHK, I have Lassie. Like Lassie's bigger than my fucking couch. Like, what am I gonna do with Lassie? Lassie's gonna like do my like at best they'll fucking be a dhobi and like run around on top of your laundry. Like they can't do all that much. There's no room for that. Which is also why, like I think in British movies and TV shows, I don't think there's as much of a animal quota, because again they also have smaller houses, smaller, more narrow apartments and flats.
But they have Paddington, which is great.
But again, not a real character, right? Like not physically, where would he fit? So
not a live action animal.
Let's draw him in, or
But I think that's why those movies worked with us. That's why we liked them so much, because they had something we didn't have.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, I was never allowed to have a pet in my house, and so I used to fantasize having pets.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So actually what these animal movies were about was 1, fulfilling a childhood desire, 2, real estate, okay, and the lack of it here in India.
Yeah.
So if we had to kind of have an animal movie, it would have to be set in like Nasik or like Dound.
If India was to make an animal movie, if it had to be realistic, it would have to be about the strays.
Yeah,
that would be a fun movie.
Dude, it would be like the mean streets of Bombay, ruled by a puppy mafia.
Just
like amazing. Like somebody's got to make this.
Stray's life.
The other thing which I think is kind of more pertinent, I don't know if you guys remember this one movie, but this one resonated with me a lot as a kid, was a movie called Mighty Joe Young, which is not exactly the same type of film, but it was about a big, like basically an rare oversized gorilla, and it's basically about how everybody's trying to get their hands on this. It's like that cautionary tale.
It's a great Star Movies Tuesdays at 9 p.m. watch.
Yeah,
it's a great Star Movies movie. I don't know, something about apes or like just generally like gorillas or and things like that I think draw my heartstrings a lot more than maybe dog movies. I don't know, it's a weird thing.
I get exactly what you're saying. The climax of one of the greatest movies of all time, Baby's Day Out, hinges around a gorilla. Remember this one? Do you remember talking about?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
They've been chasing the baby all day out, and they finally find him in a zoo, and the baby gets taken in by a big scary gorilla who immediately is just like, here, by all means, you can have my apple. Sure, you can eat from my fruit salad bowl. Buy whatever you'd like. And then they try to steal the baby out just by pulling him. They try to steal him by sticking a broom in his dungarees. No, none of that, because Papa Gorilla or Mama Gorilla, they're kind of ambiguous on that. I'm here to save the day, and boom, just like that is the scene that sort of like tanks all momentum that these guys have. And then of course, they go to a construction site and they get peed on and they get like
Construction site,
cemented on.
obviously.
You know what happens. I mean, like that's
Classic.
cool. Nobody is
Yeah.
surprised at that point. But the gorilla came, destroyed the day. And that's all I have to say about that.
That's amazing. I want to talk about another ape family movie, which is Dunston Checks In, or as we knew it here in India as Ek Bandar Hotel Ke Andar. I have not seen this movie, I think, since maybe it came out. I think I watched it for like 3 or 4 times when it came out, and then after I've never seen it. So just
I
for
saw it
my
last year.
memory's sake,
Totally saw it last year. Totally
can
saw
you
it last
guys
year.
remind me about Dunston Checks In and why that still is stuck in my head? Is it because Jishnu keeps talking about it? I don't know.
I remember all animal movies, but only a few scenes that made me either laugh out loud or things like that. But I don't watch these movies as an adult because I feel like I'm an extremely skeptical adult and I'll ruin it for myself. I'll start criticizing it in some way or the other.
Actually, let's talk about that. So why do you think, Niveditha, that you haven't revisited these films as much, or why do you think they might not work or in this current age?
I don't think they would work. I think if if my 8-year-old nephew watches it, he'll probably like some of it. I mean, if that's his thing, he might like it. I think that as adults, we have so many other things going on in our minds. I just want to leave the things that I watched when I was a child and remember it like I remembered it as a child. I don't want to watch it again as an adult because I feel like I will have a new perspective on the movie and I don't want that perspective to change.
Interesting. Because
I can offer you a solution, Niveditha. I think I did this.
Yeah.
If I recall, I think when I last saw Dunston, for example, I totally understand where you're coming from with regard to like your adult brain ruining your childhood memory. Totally fair. Here's the one thing that your adult brain can do that your childhood brain couldn't do, which can potentially improve upon the memory. Watch Dunston Checks In drunk off your tits. Couldn't do that when you were 8 years
All right.
old. And let me tell you,
Alcohol.
that monkey, pretty fucking great, like 3 beers down. Jason Alexander, comedic genius. When you're drunk,
he is a comedian.
couldn't
Oh my God,
have been
yeah.
stronger. Yeah.
Yeah.
So try it. Don't knock it till you try it. That's all I'm saying.
So alcohol is a way to fix these. I want to ask, do you think also we have started seeing less and less of these, just to kind of tie into what you were talking about, Peter, and all these animal services kind of coming in, and I don't know if it's just my own memory or perception of it, but they definitely, like, the world has moved on, right? Like we used to talk about, like Jishnu, Dinkar and I have spoken about disaster movies and how that's kind of like, there are some late stage guys, but they've kind of reduced in numbers as opposed to like superhero films, that's kind of gone up on the rise, and horror films have like kind of become more evolved. But do you think that there are less than we just had to begin with?
I feel like the world overdoses on a certain genre because they've made it for 5 years continuously and they stop making it for the next 15 years. However, I don't know why animal movies stop getting. Maybe there's a bigger reason for why animal movies stop getting made, because it's a huge market. You can't go wrong. Everybody likes animals. Kids like animals. Adults like animals. Like it's a full. Even if the movie is bad, people will still watch it just because there's an animal.
That is true.
Well, you know what has upticked a little bit, I think, or maybe if it's not upticked, then it's like it's been in vogue in like blips along the way since the 90s, or definitely since like the 2000s. Even though the animal movie, yes, that's another crossover event. You can come back. We'll dig into that.
Yeah, there's some animal and rom-com crossovers, like the movie Must Love
Marley
Dogs.
and Me.
Marley and Me, kind of.
Mask.
And
Milo saves the day. Hello, who broke him out of
That's
jail?
Milo.
true. I never, you know what?
Another
Although
movie.
Milo is such a big part of the mask, I never saw it as an animal movie. I've never thought of it as, oh, this is
Yeah,
because
I mean,
the
sure.
animal is a supporting actor.
He's a supporting character, yes. No, even, I mean, technically in You've Got Mail, there's also Brinkley, one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
Niveditha, do you have any recommendations for animal movies before we end this segment?
So many, but I'll have to pick one. There's a classic that is very popular, and I think that everybody should watch at some point. Black Beauty.
Black Beauty is great.
We haven't even touched
It has
on
some
the horses.
sequels also,
That's a
if
whole
I'm not
other.
mistaken. That's a show. Niveditha, we're gonna take a moment now, and Jishnu is basically gonna lead us through this next section, which is called Hot Takes. Right now, we still don't have a good name for it, but
Hot Takes is a great name.
It's a name.
So it's a name for now, and so we're gonna basically ask you the most burning questions and want your burning opinions on these pop culture franchises and moments and trends that have been just surrounding us in the last couple of years and maybe the last 30-40 years. So
I'm ready.
Jishnu,
I'm ready.
take it away.
This is hardly the latest, but it is one of the greatest. Tintin versus Asterix.
Tintin.
We found one. You're literally the first person.
I knew it.
You're literally the first person in 8 or 9 episodes that we've done so far.
But that's also
why,
because I invested more into Tintin than I did Asterix ever in my life. I had a lot of Asterix. Yeah. Tintin had more flavor to it than Asterix did for me. It had much more going on in it to engage me than Asterix did. My sister would have taken Asterix over Tintin. Even in my house, I think Asterix was more popular than Tintin was. I don't know why.
Nice.
Why do people like Asterix so much? It's actually pretty. It's funny. But I don't get it. Yeah, it's okay.
I think so.
Right?
Everybody who's been on this show, and when we ask them this question, has been like Asterix because of the comedy, and they just like the
the comedy is good.
It is a funnier kind of like comic, right? It's more about the comedy than it is about.
It's also
the
very
adventure
intelligent.
part.
Asterix is very intelligent.
It is.
No, without question. Yeah.
But
I think
story.
Yeah, exactly. I think in the Geek Fruit camp, we appreciate the sleuthing. We appreciate the little Scooby-Doo nature of his sleuthing, and I think everybody else really enjoyed the funnies.
The funnies, yeah.
The funnies in Asterix. There were more funnies packed in per page, I guess.
Per page.
All right.
Yeah. Per panel.
Here we go.
Jishnu, hit us with the next topic.
He-Man, and just generally other old favorite cartoons. Do you have a winner? We're just looking for an opinion.
Wait,
old
He-Man
cartoons.
versus what?
No, He-Man. Just He-Man. Tell us about He-Man.
You didn't
watch He-Man.
The only thing I liked about He-Man was the opening sequence. I used to watch it, and then I'd watch a little bit, and then it never did anything for me. I didn't like He-Man that much growing up.
Yeah, of course. It was such a young boy.
It's a boys' club. Yeah, totally a boys' club.
Thing.
Yeah.
But then they made She-Ra. Okay, they made She-Ra, warrior princess.
Actually, a contemporary of He-Man is Thundercats, isn't it?
Yes. Slightly later, but yes.
I love Thundercats.
Yeah.
Thundercats was my favorite when at the time. I used to. Oh man, it was so cool. Thundercats was such a cool show.
Lionel, Panthro.
Chitara. Oh my god, Chitara is so hot.
So good. So hot. Crazy. Weird.
Crazy.
Love this. Okay, cool.
Listen, did you guys have crushes on these animated characters? Any of them?
I was so scared. I was so scared we were going here, and we have reached.
I just need to know, because I remember watching X-Men for the first time, and I was smitten by Gambit.
You brought this up before. You are very proud of this. You are very proud of this. This is not a guilty pleasure by any means.
No, it's not a. I'm so honest about this. I feel like he ruined every real life relationship for me.
There's an Axel
Wow.
Braun parody out there with your
Wow.
name on it. Niv, that's all I can say. Just
I'll tell you what.
Google is your friend.
I will suggest that we add this as a question to ongoing on the hot take section. Who is your animated crush? Niveditha, you have coined something here. I love it. All right.
I think for me it is a lifelong love more than a crush. I've spoken about it for 20 years.
How bizarre this is. This is so good. Okay. All right. All right. Just to take us to something safer, please.
Where do I go from this? Okay.
So boring.
Tinkle Comics
Safer, it seems.
v Diamond Comics.
I mean, I read so much more of Tinkle. I think I've read every Tinkle edition ever made. I don't think
that's possible, right? Like there's just too many. There's too many, man.
I feel like I've read all of them.
You spent a lot of time on the train, didn't you?
I had chicken pox when I was 8, and I read all the books in my house. All the books. There was even a Mr. Pink Whistle. I don't know. Is that an Enid Blyton book? I think so. I'm not sure.
Maybe. I don't know.
But
it sounds
Dr.
like
Pink Whistle, I read that one, and I didn't buy any of these books. They were just lying around my house, and I read all of them, and most of them were Tinkles. Most of them. I think there were at least 100 Tinkles in my house at the time.
Who is the most Tinkle character according to you? I know everybody, if I ask who do you love, everyone's going to say Suparni. But who do you think is the underrated character at Tinkle?
Ramu and Shamu.
Ramu and Shamu. Yeah.
And their mom. It's not them, it's the mom. It's Ramu and Shamu's mom. Like she's like nobody else in Tinkle looks that good. The way they made Ramu and Shamu's mom look. And I feel like there's some underlying reason for why they did that.
Yeah, Ramu and Shamu's mom. The poor mom who has to deal with these twins. Okay, great. Nice. Jishnu.
Do you want more Disney live action remakes?
No.
All right.
That's great.
Cheers.
Thanks for coming.
I mean, it's just not fun. It's not fun. Did you see the Cinderella live action?
I did see the Cinderella one. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I just thought Cinderella itself, I wasn't into. Like, I like the magical parts of the story, but the story itself was quite boring. But then when they made it live action, even the magical parts of Cinderella about the animals coming and singing around with her, and all the fun parts of Cinderella also get boring. The whole point of an animation is to make things that are realistic look exaggerated and fun. And live action can't do that. Lion King live action looks great, but it's too realistic. It's not fun. Kids don't want to watch that. Kids want to watch like weird expressions and Simba looking disgusted when he eats that worm, but then immediately start liking it. That's a great scene in the animated film. And it didn't have the same impact in the live action.
It was more slimy than satisfying. There was very little slimy.
Yes.
So I think nail on head, man. Like we obviously agree with you. Cool. I think that's the end of the hot takes. Niveditha, thank you so much for being on Crossover Event. Before we close
I have
out the
had
show,
so much fun.
Yeah, it's so awesome to talk to people about their weird animated crushes. I don't know, it's just like something we don't do as often, clearly. But
I feel like if I keep saying it, Gambit will come into my life. So I keep putting it out there.
Make it a thing. Make it real. You can watch Niveditha's special once again. Ladies Up. It's there on Netflix and just catch her stuff on YouTube. And thanks so much, Niveditha, for being here.
Yeah, really I'm going to start a YouTube channel just because you guys have one and it's so cool, and I'm going to start one.
Please start.
And if I do start one, watch me.
100%. Okay, cool. All right. Thanks a lot, Niveditha.
All right.
Take it easy.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for hanging out.
No stress.